Welcome to another TIBCO video tutorial. This is Jason Semiliano, Chief TIBCO Architect of Smarter Incorporated. In today's tutorial, I'd like to show you how to add custom Java code into your application. One of the silliest objections I've ever heard against TIBCO is that supposedly you cannot add custom code into your TIBCO application. And supposedly because you're stuck with using all these activities, and if these activities do not support what it is you're trying to do, then you're just out of luck. Well, very simply, that's just silly. That's wrong. You can add custom code into your applications, and you would use Java, the Java programming language, in order to do that. So in today's tutorial, I'd like to show you how to add Java code into your process definition. This tutorial is actually inspired by one of the requests coming from one of our fans all the way from the beautiful country of Kenya. So I am absolutely delighted and excited that we have fans all over the world excited to learn more and more about TIBCO application development. Thank you for your comments and all your support. We really and truly appreciate it. I am humbled to be of service to each and every one of you. With that said, let's move on into our TIBCO Designer tool. This is the Smarter TIBCO Tutorials project that we created in earlier TIBCO video tutorials. So please follow along with me here. Inside the Business Processes folder, we are going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this one Add Java Code. Inside the Add Java Code folder, I'm going to add a new process definition. I am going to call this one Create Greeting. Double click on the Create Greeting process definition. In here, in between the start and the end activities, we're going to we're going to add a new activity from the Java palette, and that activity is called Java Code. That adds a Java Code activity into your process definition. And the purpose of this activity is that it will take in a parameter, a name, and then we're going to turn that name into a greeting. And then the greeting will be outputted by the Java Code activity. So that is the purpose of this activity and this process. So let's move on into accomplishing that purpose. To do that, the first thing I'm going to do is rename the activity from Java Code to Create Greeting. Inside the input parameters section, I'm going to add an input variable. I'm going to call this one name. And the type is going to be string, and the occurrence is going to be required. We're going to require developers to enter in a name for this activity to be valid. In the output parameters, I'm going to add an output variable here, and I'm going to call it greeting. And I'm going to make it required as well. So very simple. I changed the name. I added a name input parameter and a greeting output parameter. In the Code tab, this is where you add your Java code. Our Java code today is going to be very simple. It's going to be greeting. We're just going to turn the name into a greeting. So greeting equals hello. And I'm going to put in a plus sign to concatenate. I'm going to put in the name, and I'm going to concatenate, and I'm going to put an exclamation point. Notice here that it is indicated that you have an in parameter called name and an out parameter called greeting. That tells you what you've set up in the configuration tab. So our code here is very simple. Obviously, you can make this code as complicated as you want, but for today's tutorial, we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to click Apply. I'm going to go into the Input tab, and you'll notice that in your Activity Input section, what you have here is a required field called name. That is because we declared name as a required parameter. So I'm going to put in my name here, Jason. I'm going to click apply. So a name is being sent to this activity, and we should be expecting a greeting after it executes. Now, all you need to do is to simply click on this compile button here. You notice that there is an exclamation point. So click on that, and then Tibco will compile your code. You'll notice that you got a note saying code compiled successfully. Click OK. Click apply. And then I'm going to click save. I'm going to add transition lines, and then I'm going to just pretty it up a little bit here. Make sure they're all nicely aligned. We're going to click on this align top size button on the top. And I'll click on a white space to deselect all activities, and then I'm going to check to make sure that I haven't missed anything. There you go. I clicked on that button and it says validation successful. Resource was successfully validated. Click OK. Click save. And now we're ready to run this process definition. Go into the tester tab and click on this green button here to start the testing. Click there. Click load and start current. And let's see. It ran from start to finish with no problems. Let's look at the greeting that it outputted. You'll notice that we now have a greeting, and this greeting came from the Java code that you wrote here. So that, my friends, is how you add custom Java code to extend the capabilities of TIBCO Designer. So suppose there's something you want to do in your application and you cannot find any activity to accomplish that functionality, then you would add custom Java code to do that. There are other ways to add custom Java code, such as adding a Java custom function or using the Java method activity, but I will reserve those for future video tutorials. For today, I just showed you how to use the Java code activity, add in a very simple Java code, and then put in a parameter and get an output out of that Java code activity. So I hope you learned something. We have a mission accomplished in today's video tutorial. Thank you again for watching this Tibco video tutorial. And I appreciate all of your support and all of your wonderful comments. So stay tuned for more video tutorials to come. Again, this is Jason Semiliano of Smarter Incorporated. Have a wonderful day. Take care.